Good morning and thanks for taking your time to join me today. My name is Yasir Sanusi from the Nigerian Higher Education Foundation. I am an NHEF Scholar of the Year 2026, currently working at Kuramo Capital, one of NHEF partner firms, and I'll be taking you through your interview today. It's great to finally meet you. How's your day
Good
been
morning,
so far?
sir. Very fine, thank
Please,
you,
can you
sir. Good
tell me?
morning. Good morning, sir. My day have been going so far. Very good.
Okay, that's nice. I'm glad to hear.
All right, sir.
So let's get into it without wasting much time. I've gone through your application and I have to say it's really impressive, but I would like to know the person behind you. So to start off, can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Okay, sir. Good morning once again. My name is Sherif Lawal. I am a penultimate year accounting student at Ahmadu University Zaria with a CGPA of 4.88 over 5.0. I'm very much intentional about not just doing academically, but also professionally. Currently taking ICANN ATWA examination with a view and working towards becoming fully chartered even before served as the public relations officer of the same departmental students union. I've been the class representative of my class since my freshman year. I joined the investment society in my second year in university and grew to become the vice president heading the management consulting division. I'm a member of the EFCC Zero Tolerance Club and an active volunteer with Plugin Nigeria. I'm privileged to be selected among the 11 students across the university to start up an initiative, which is the Student Career Advancement Committee by the Students Representative Council. I am passionate about impact. I'm a peer mentor and a student tutor. I'm an active member of both my departmental and faculty academic committee. I've had on experience by being an accounting intern in a hospital, and also it's a build up to my previous experience as a financial secretary in a hospital. In general and overall, a person who is intentional about growth, overall development, and continuous improvement. And I'm interested in building a career in consulting and being a chartered accountant. And I see the Nigeria Higher Education Foundation as the perfect platform to learn, grow, and also connect with like minds who are looking to build in meaningful impact. Thank you.
Wow, this is so impressive. Thanks for sharing. So looking ahead, what are your main career plans after graduation?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question, sir. So upon graduation, long term first, my long term career ambition is to build a career in management consulting where I can help businesses solve complex problems. And to actually achieve this as a student, I in my field of accounting, I focused on business administration, finance, management to gain insightful insights on how this field actually works.
Please, are you with me?
And we have come up with initiative like a pilot run to further expose myself and members to solving real case scenarios where we had analysts and then founders within the society and further expose ourselves to how we can analyze this business problem and solve them, also offering recommendation, which we actually did. And as a result of that, it gives us hard-on experience building our analytical thinking and also strategic problem solving skills. And aside in this, I've always put myself in positions to want to grow professionally, which is why I'm taking ICANN examination, and I'm always searching for opportunities and mentorship. And as discovering that the field of line I'm going into is not just going with your academics, there are more to it, which is why I'm seeking towards mentorship and programs such as the Nigeria Higher Education Foundation Scholars Program, which I see as the perfect platform to learn, grow, and also seek mentorship and preparedness for global opportunities. And I see myself in the next 10, 20 years as being a global management consultant and be able to make meaningful impacts within not just Nigeria, but beyond. Thank you.
Well, this is beautiful. So before I move to my next question, will it be convenient for you to put on your camera? All right, beautiful. So throughout the next question, you'll be leaving on your camera.
All right, sir.
So all what you say is so interesting. It really reflects the type of person you are and what you submitted in your application. And so with that in mind, why do you want to be an NHEF scholar? And how does the program fit into your long-term goals? Please, do you get my question? Sherif, are you with me?
So I didn't get what you said, sir.
All right. I said, why do you want to be an NHEF scholar? How does this program fit into your long-term goals?
Very sorry, sir. Please, can you come again? I really did not get the question.
I said, why do you want to be an NHEF scholar? And how does this program fit into your long-term goals?
Hello, sir.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sherif? Are you with me?
Yes, I can hear you now, sir. I've lost you for quite a while, but I can hear you
All
now.
right, so sorry for that. I think it's a network glitch. So I said, with that in mind, why do you want to be an NHEF scholar? And how does this program fit into your long-term goals? Do you get me?
I only had goals, sir.
So sorry for that. Why do you want to be an NHEF scholar, and how does this program fit into your long-term goal?
Okay, thank you so very much for that question, sir. So from my earlier introduction, as I've said, very, very intentional about making impacts and then giving, no matter how little I have in skills, back to my community. Opportunities to not just internships, but then global opportunities, and also exposing them to real world business opportunities. And I see this as a perfect opportunity for me to grow and learn. And on learning, I want to improve my skills to be able to give back to the community and also improve on my mentees upon returning from the scholars program. So in general, I see the scholars program as a very key opportunity and a program where I can further improve myself in skills and in general development to further improve my mentorship abilities and general skills to be able to give back more to my immediate community. Thank you very much.
All right, that's nice. That's nice. As I said, I'm quite impressed with what you have said. Before we proceed, you can kind of turn off your camera in order to reduce the distractions.
All right, Tom.
So, going to the next question. The NHF program really focuses on national building and giving back. After going through the program, how do you see yourself using what you've gained to impact your community or university?
Okay, sir. Starting off, I've earlier stated I was opportune to be part of the 11 students, which were part of the new initiative of the Student Career Advancement Committee. Even before applying for the Nigeria Higher Education Foundation, I've always put myself in cases and scenarios whereby I give the little of skills I have back to essay writing, CV development. These are things I've been doing since my freshman year. And with the NHEF, if I'm opportune to be part of the NHEF Scholars Program, I will further ensure I learn and grow in majority of these skills. And upon returning to the university and my immediate environment, I plan on hosting multiple sessions on not just guiding students about how to build these skills within university, but how to further equip and prepare themselves for life after school, which is a major thing I have in mind. And with the NHEF coming in, I will further have exposures to not just what I've learned, but beyond from industry experts. And I intend using the whole of this knowledge to further guide others so that not just in their school life, but in their after school life, most of these things will be seamless. And aside in this, I would want to really learn the whole process of the um, scholars program exposure so as to further um, increase the seamlessness of students, particularly from my university, in getting in the scholars program, which I've actually started as serving as even a peer mentor in the whole application of the NHEF this year. Thank you, sir.
All right. Moving to the next question, I can see you've taken on quite a bit of responsibility. How do you manage balancing leadership roles with academics?
Okay, thank you so very much for the question, sir. As I've earlier stated, as you mentioned, I gave myself quite a number of commitments, but then majorly how I balance my academics and then extracurricular is a high level of time management, which I ensure I work based on priorities and I ensure I give accurate time to what is necessary. But then, regardless of that, I ensure I work with full productivity. And with this comes with a lot of pressure. And as an individual, I see pressure as a form of motivation. And seeing this as a motivation, I tend to work harder beyond usual, which has made me explore my skills beyond reasonable doubt to force myself in a lot of things. So being a student and involved in extracurriculars, I see that as an advantage for me to easily work with things that I actually think I cannot do in a normal day. Thank
Let's talk about leadership for a moment. Can you walk me through a time you led a team through a tough situation or tight deadline? How did you keep everyone on track and motivated?
Okay, thank you so very much for that question. So I'll be explaining this with what actually happened to me last session. So in my second year in the university, second semester particularly, I was taking a course, Account 202, where a week to the examination, we were given an assignment which was to be a group work, not particularly presentation, but then the whole class was divided into two, and being divided into two, which is a very, very large number. And as of then, I was opportune to be the group leader of that. And we had to submit our group work in a week's time. So that was what we had on ground then. And the work was a bit complex. And as a result of that, we planned on actually subdividing the group into different segments to go and what called different parts of the work to compile together and then submit. But what actually happened was that the deadline we were given, being short as a week, majority of the team members were very, very inactive and did not actually participate in the work. But being a team leader, I know the deadline is very close, and this is a work that will actually affect each and every single one of us, regardless of the fact that some are active and some are inactive. So what I did as a leader then was to coordinate those that are very, very serious then and further give them explanation on how the whole of the work was. Then I call on the whole of the team and explain the effect of the whole work to them, explain to them clearly how this can actually affect our assessments and all. But after this, we did not actually get full engagement in the whole of the work. But then I got about 70% of members of the group to work on the project together with me. And as a result of that, we did our work well and submitted a few hours to the deadline, which our work got the best result amongst the two teams. And eventually, our assessments came in good, and virtually every single member of the group passed the course. Thank you, sir.
This is beautiful. So moving on to our next question. The job market is pretty competitive these days. Over the past year, what specific step have you taken to develop yourself personally and professionally?
Okay, thank you.
You had the last statement,
Okay,
right?
yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you so
proceed.
very much for that question, sir. As you've stated, the job market being very competitive. So what I understand by the job market being competitive is the fact that we have very little job and the demand for job is very, very high, which is making the market very, very saturated and then lower jobs available. So as a result of this, I've made research and come to a conclusion that regardless of the job market being very, very competitive or not, if as a student or as an individual in the job market, you have specific skills that majority of people do not have, you definitely have an edge. Over the past 1 year, I've been improving myself in not just extracurricular, but then in skills that actually matter in my field of study. Like I've been improving myself in proficiency in Excel, and other Microsoft Office suites like PowerPoint and also MS Word to increase to a level of proficiency. I've also taken courses and gotten certification on accounting software such as Sage 50, QuickBook Enterprises. And aside in that, within the last 1 year was when I joined clubs and society like the Investment Society, the EFC Zero Tolerance Club. And a major motive of this was to increase my exposure and gain access to network with like-minded individuals. This network will give me access to lots of opportunities I might not have even known before the um, opportunity to go into the global and business world. So in the last 1 year, in summary, I've put myself in environment that will stretch and expose me. I've increased myself in skills that actually matter in my field of study, and I've been making strategic trajectory for myself even before graduation. And aside in that, I'm already working towards becoming a chartered accountant even before graduation, so as to improve and increase my certification beyond that of a normal student. Thank you, sir.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm really impressed. So for my last question, I would like to touch on communication. Can you share a time where you successfully convinced someone to see things from your perspective, like to change someone's opinion?
Okay, thank you so very much, sir, for that question. So I will link this to a scenario that happened last session in my university. When I was a public relation officer of my departmental students union, I was a core member and a major part of the planning committee that organized the 2025 NUASA annual conference. And part of my responsibility then with my other members of the committee was to work towards getting a keynote speaker. And then to get a keynote speaker, we had to come up with a team to actually fill in the event with. So on that team and topic for keynote speech is where we are going to get our keynote speaker from. And then we had a lot of discussion around which area we should focus on. And majority of the committee and virtually all member of the committee were of the view of we facing a major segment of accounting, like either management accounting, consulting, possibly case study scenarios and lot of things, and possibly securing job in the future as an accounting student. But then my view was different because I was of the view of even if we want to get students prepared for life after school, we should actually look for what is emerging at the moment. And the suggestion I came up then was AI, and AI then was evolving and was in most cases an argument of students for the fact that whether AI is going to replace accountants or not. So I deem it fit as being a perfect topic to actually discuss and get a keynote speaker on. So we had argument and deliberation on that based on the fact that we had different perspective, but I was able to bring them to my point of view by actually explaining to them what the world is facing as of today. So with a lot of explanation and different method of convincing them by actually giving them real fact figures of how accountants are working in the present world today. So definitely for an accountant planning to work in a very good organization in the nearest future, you definitely must be equipped with these skills. So as a result of that, we came into a conclusion and an agreement to actually go with the topic I proposed, which is the role of accounting, the role of AI in the accounting world today. And as a result of that, we picked that and worked towards getting a keynote speaker on that topic. Thank you, sir.
Wow, that's nice. That's beautiful. So before we proceed, the fact that I've seen that you have a lot of passion for developing yourself in leadership, in career, and in like giving back to the community, I just dropped a very important link for you in the comment box. Please, before we proceed to ask you the next question, please briefly go through it. I think it's going to support you in your career journey. Just go through it, please. And when you're done, let me know so I can ask you my last question.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I've taken note of that.
All right, beautiful. So for my last question, I would want you to put on your camera. So this is not like the last question. We've already answered the last question earlier. So this brings us to the end of my questions. But before we move on, do you have any questions for me?
So, let me quickly turn on my camera. Okay, so thank you so very much for the interview, sir. I just have one question, and I've researched on the NHEF and the Scholars Program and all the initiatives of the NHEF Scholars Program and how it has helped develop scholars, hundreds of numbers across the years. So I want to know NHEF itself supports scholars to gain impact after the program.
Well, that's a beautiful question. So to answer your question, yes, of course. As an NHS scholar, you get access to structured mentorship, leadership development, and exposure to the career and in the industry. And we have a lot of scholars who are currently doing well. We have some of them in NHS firms, partner firms such as Pramo Capital, Sankore Investment, SFGH Bank, and other law firms, finance firms, and engineering firms. So basically, we are going to support you to scale impact, not just in what you are doing, but also in your career to give you advantage. We have several NHF scholars, as you know, such as Abdul Wahab Lukman. He's currently a fund manager and a risk analyst in Sankore Investments. And we have quite a lot of scholars in the Bank of America. We have doing a lot of great impactful activities in the university. And from university, I'm sure you know Ubaidullah from pharmacy, right?
Yes, sir, definitely.
You can see the amazing job he's doing. So one of the things that NHF practically offers you to scale impacts when you get into the program is what you see all these people doing. They are doing well. They are doing well career-wise. They are doing well when it comes to community impact, and it's a promise to the NHF scholar to improve the higher education. So we are going to support whoever gets into the program and help them scale impact, whether it comes to the industry, career, or leadership, or even giving back to the society. Do you have any other question?
That'll be all on my part, sir. Thank you so very much, sir.
All right, that's beautiful. You can take off your camera now. So we'll be taking a brief moment to give you brief feedback of how you did today. So overall, you did well, and you've got a very strong foundation. And with a few adjustment, I think you are in a very good position for the final stage. And I really feel that you are very well rounded when it comes to academics, when it comes to career, when it comes to academic excellence, and things related to giving back to your community. That is it. You are well rounded, and I think you have clarity on what you want to do in the future. So, but I just think I have two corrections for you, and which is very special about you, the fact that you've been very impressive in the way you spoke. I'm really impressed because I've interviewed quite a number of scholars, and your response have been very straight to the point. It was very clear. But so going back to my observations, first of all is that whenever you are asked to respond to certain questions, you need to make it very brief and straight to the point. Like the way you answer the behavioral questions, I want you to actually go straight to the point. Yes, the details you give is very important. So you can make your words a bit, let's say, compressed and go straight to the point. And then when you are asked a question, I noticed there were some places where you were kind of tensed up. I don't know. Though you were very calm actually, but there are some places that I felt you were kind of tense up. I don't know, maybe it was due to the network or so. So when you're speaking, just be free. Your interviewers are human beings, and of course they know what you might be going through. So just feel calm. If you don't hear a question properly, you can answer just the way you did. And whenever you think of a point, you should avoid using fillers such as just ask to be given a moment so you can speak. And yes, I think overall that is it. And I love the fact that when you're answering these questions, when you're done with answering the questions, you kind of made it known to me that you have answered the questions, like you have finished answering the question. So before we wrap up, just a quick check. If selected, will you be fully available for the orientation in July? And the internship period, will you be available in Lagos?
Yes, I'll be very much available, sir.
All right. That's really nice speaking with you today. I wish you the very best, and I hope to see you in the Scholars Program.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you for your time, sir.
Oh yeah. So, Sherif, how was it like? You can talk freely now. We have finished the interview, so.
Yeah. So actually, like, apart from the formal correction, how was my listening?
The interview was very excellent. It was very smooth, and sincerely speaking, I couldn't really think of anything to correct in your interview. You know, when I was being interviewed, my interviewer had said to me that I was reading from a paper because I was talking like a robot, and
Really?
so it was really perfect. And then the fact that you know, NHEF is just like a career boot camp. They want to give you an advantage in your career. So you really have clarity and direction on what you want to be. When I was being interviewed, I joined investment and finance, and my interviewer said, yes, they might be related, but they are two different things. And it's fine that
exactly.
as a student, you don't really get to figure out 100% what you want to do. And that is what NHF is there to support. So get this from me, like whether I get into the program or not, like you are doing excellently. It's the mindset. I know people like, let me not even fire some people. I know some people who got into the program, but sincerely speaking, they are not doing anything beyond what NHF gives to them. You might know some of them, I don't know, but they are not really doing much, to be sincere. So what you are currently doing is you are doing even better than most NHF scholars. And I think whether I get into the program or not, I think you are really doing fine. But I hope you get, and you have all it takes to be there. So that's.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'm very
But
impressed.
actually,
You do the best. So how was my
I
interview?
know. Yeah, you did so very well. You did so very well. And the fact that that first time you said I should turn on camera, right? That was when like I felt the like interviewer's vibe. You understand? Like, we started
Yeah.
off, my camera was off, and then you said turn on camera. Yes, yeah, I felt the interviewer's vibe very much as at then. And yeah, the thing is that like what I just observed, like basically myself is that ever since I scheduled my interview since the beginning to 27. So I was too much of the view of like I had too much time, and this thing of like the perception of too much time, it will make you not want to prepare. You feeling like you still have time, you can still prepare at any time. So I've not really been doing anything. You understand?
Yeah.
So like I've spent, let me just say, the only thing I've been thinking on then is the question of tell me about yourself, and that, not really on the behavioral questions and all. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I had a mock interview, and then my performance was hell, and I was like, I'm really not ready at all. You get, so
So
that
who
was why I said
who interviewed you?
it was Ubaidullah. Ubaidullah interviewed me
Omo.
yesterday.
The guy interviewed me and I felt like I was a small child, like Omo. Like I wasn't even prepared
Mm.
for it. So like it's so nice.
The part of major correction he gave me was, see this my like tell me about yourself, my elevator pitch I give them, right?
Yeah.
Mistake I made there, that the elevator pitch I drafted, I was even adding metrics. Like, let me say, I said I'm the class representative. So I wasn't things like being a class representative. I came up with this initiative. I did this. I did that. I did this. So like, I did not even had any like I did not know of all these corrections before then. So that was why I was really before I started my mock interviews that yesterday. So I'm actually planning on having at least like maybe three before tomorrow. Pep. So just like today,
Well,
I'm thinking of having like two to three more before my interviews.
so as you know, I'm recording this call because I know in the future people might want to refer back to this and probably learn from it. And this is very excellent. So I don't know if there's even a material on YouTube that can be as good as this one currently. So I'm going to put it there. So uh the corrections that Ubaidullah gave to you, what did he say? Like what were the corrections and the observations, generally speaking?
Okay. Let me put that out also. Okay, so at first, right, from what I stated, like I was taking too much time. My elevator pitch was, I think, just tell me about yourself. I spent more than 5 minutes, so it was way too long. Yeah, I was adding matrix, and then I was adding everything about it. Like every row I was stating what I was doing there. So a major thing he stated was that, like me just answering, tell me about yourself. I've answered more than five other questions they will have asked me. So like questions like what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths? I've stated all that in tell me about yourself. Questions like let me say like leadership, like tell me about a time you have led or something. I've answered all that together. And then there were some words I was using too much, which I actually observed personally that I reduced in this. This is my second mock interview. Words like, oh, actually, yes, I was using the word actually too much. So the reason for that was that I was using the word actually to sound not scripted, because you cannot be scripting and be putting words like that. So like when I'm like saying something to friend, I would also, okay, actually this is the reason why I did this, so that it would be as if I'm just having like a normal conversation, but then it was way too much. Then from what you said, I think he made me like I abused the word passionate, because I was adding everything I was doing. So every single role I was putting, I was pushing passionate. Like I'm passionate about financial literacy. That was why I joined AFC's Lutheran's Club. I'm passionate about environmental sustainability. I joined plugged in. I'm passionate about finance, about this. So I was using the word passionate too much, and it was too generic at that point. And then yeah, you made mention of fillers also. Yes, like and those other stuff. But in general, he made mention of something I took to it of very strong, that your interviewers themselves will know that you cannot get 100% perception perfection, and they know that some of these things like in answering the questions. Okay, though the mock interview I had yesterday, I did not really use the star approach. I don't know, I forgot to accept those behavioral questions you asked. There was one I was answering at first. I don't know how well I used the star approach. I know I was thinking of it in my head as I was answering, so I don't know if I really put it in well. Hmm?
I said you're going to listen to it later on and see how it ended.
Okay. So okay,
So
I tried, because you didn't mention that yesterday. I was not really using star approach, and then he said I should ensure that like before I even start, like those that require star approach, it's I'm putting it carefully, and like these are the major things they check, like the key on details. And okay, from when we started, my camera was on, the emphasis on my person, and I know for certain, you know, my Davidoli, I'll be fully kitted in suit and tie. It was all because it was the mock interview and all. So aside that, yeah, you say in general that they know I cannot have 100% perfection, but then I should just make sure my lapses were not in like this little correction of, like, let me say, words, dressing, use of too much use of fillers and all. You get, so
Yes.
that's basically it.
So, and me, one thing I actually learned about the program is the fact that they're not looking for perfection, because there are people that had
Yes,
like a 5.0 CGPA before applying, and they were well rounded. They had leadership skills. They contribute a lot to their community. They have done global internships, let's say in World Bank and so on. But they got rejected, and there were some people that were not doing much, and they got accepted. And that would come to say that
yes.
there's maybe something they're basically looking for in someone, a type of strength and a type of weakness that they're basically looking in someone. I mean, I feel that the type of strength they're looking for is that zeal to want to develop yourself and grow and impact. And then secondly, the fact that
Imagine.
they know you're human and you acknowledge your weakness would be a reason why they want to get you into the program.
Okay, so thank you so very much, Yasir. I'll have to end now. I want to join on another
No,
call now and have an.
before you end, before you end, briefly, how was my interview? Like, how was it? Grade me too, as though you were interviewing me.
Yeah, honestly, you did very, very well. Yeah, I felt the interviewer's vibe, but I felt you'll have been stricter with me. I was, maybe that was why I was calm. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I was not this calm yesterday, but then I felt like, okay, this is how it should be with an interviewer, right? Especially from what I was explaining at this stage. So, like, in general, okay, I will say over 10. I could give you an 8, and I can give you 8 over 10. It's wonderful. You did so well.
Right, that's nice. So, I think the way you are now currently, like even if you don't prepare, that calmness actually just gives you an advantage. So, don't
Yeah.
panic. I know not panic.
Yes.
So, may Allah give you all the best. Goodbye.
Thank you so very much, I said.